Hello, MPS high school math teachers. I am so grateful for your time and attention, so I will keep this as quick as possible. I wanted to bring you back to the high school timelines for Algebra 1 Geometry and Algebra 2, focused on the illustrative math curriculum. And as I look here at this document, I'm clicking on the Algebra 1, but remember Geometry Algebra 2, you have the exact same resources available to you. So for Algebra 1, we should be about in lesson 12 of Critical Area 2, Unit 2 in illustrative math. And we do have some nice little tabs linked over here on the side. So I wanted to draw your attention to the illustrative math Kendall Hunt. Make sure that you're logged in with your teacher account so you can see these resources. And I wanted to point out to you the writing and graphing system equations, the lesson you should be approaching sometime this week. I wanted to give you a reminder overview of what is included for you in illustrative math. So a really good place to start is this lesson narrative that kind of goes over what is happening in this lesson and how it fits into the sequence of these lessons. Your learning goals, you have them written for teachers, and then in student-friendly language right here, you can pull that directly for your learning intention. So no need to write a learning intention other than what is there. You are more than welcome to tailor it more directly on what you want students to understand from this lesson. But if you take that right there, that would be excellent. And the learning targets, right? What do we want it to look like? That can be your success criteria right there for you. And I love to point out that you have your Google Slides ready for you at the bottom. So for your lesson, something that we haven't talked, well, two things. So number one, I want to really encourage you to think through all of the information that is here. And last year when I was teaching this virtually, I would have, my two screens, one with, I built it in Desmos, but in your classroom, you could be projecting on your smartboard, those Google Slides. And then I had another screen right next to me of the teacher guide, and I would literally work through it. So did I have to pre-plan? Yes, absolutely. I had to choose what problems from here are going to really drive me to the learning intention and success criteria. And I had to think about how am I going to take what's in this lesson guide and really make it personal for how I'm going to implement in my class. Everything you need is in there, but you have to come up with your plan ahead of time so you can engage your students and work towards that learning goal and success criteria, the learning intention and success criteria, the learning goal and learning targets. So I had this open on a little computer next to me, and I would literally ask the questions and work through it as I went. Or I would print it up and I would mark out the parts that I was going to do and what I was going to say based on this. So it's really explicit. I just love that it gives sentence stems and things like that. These instructional routines are kind of the old school, like think, pair, share. Math talk is like an old number talk, notice and wonder. So they have these beautiful instructional routines that are the structures for what students and teachers do within the activity to keep things the same in your lessons. So as you're just familiarizing yourself, really spend time in this middle tab thinking about how you are going to deliver your content in an engaging way to students that works towards the learning goal and success criteria. But once you start to get the habit of how to pick up on what you really need to do within all of the information provided, then I would challenge you, your next level is to work on learning how to integrate those instructional routines. And you can find those back here in any one of the subject areas in the course guide and how to use these materials. So I click here and then I scroll down and it will say instructional routine somewhere around here. And it will tell me how to do each of those things. Maybe I lied to you. Maybe it is in the course guide. Course guide, instructional routines. That's the easier way to do it. So I went back out to where I launched my curriculum. I can choose Algebra 1, Geometry, or Algebra 2. And I clicked on course guide to get the instructional routines. Level 1, get comfortable with the materials and the lesson guide for teachers and really think through in your planning, how am I going to take all of this information that is here and deliver it to my students. Level 2, start thinking about how am I going to build rhythms around these instructional routines. They show up, there's many of them, but they show up in each lesson. So it's very structured and repeated for our students so that they know exactly what is coming for them. So I went over the Algebra 1 materials. You've got the same for Geometry and Algebra 2. Follow the pacing to make sure that you are on track and not falling behind. If for some reason you're still in Critical Area 1, I strongly suggest that you end it today and move into Critical Area 2. The content in Critical Area 1 is primarily review for you to set up your classroom. And now that we're in the end of September, your classroom rhythms and routines are established, and we really want to be spending our time on those priority content within the standards, and hitting the pacing and the lessons really hard is going to be the best outcomes for you and your students. One more thing that I want to bring your attention to, actually there's two and I'll go quick. One more thing is this beautiful lesson weekly template that I created and then was modified by the fabulous SST at JMAC to structure out what lessons you're going to be working on, what your learning intention and success criteria, exit ticket are, and what CAB and common you're working towards. So I strongly recommend that if you are planning independently or if you have the opportunity to attend common plan time, that you come with this filled out and then really flesh out in the instruction and practice chunk, how am I going to deliver this in a whole format to my students using that lesson guide material that we just went over in illustrative math. So this is posted in the Google Classroom. I have updated the Algebra 1, Geometry, and Algebra 2 instructional guide classrooms. I will drop those links in this email, and you will see at the very top here, we have planning resources. That is this simple template for you to fill in to guide your thinking about what am I working towards each day in the learning intention success criteria, in the exit ticket, did I make it or not? You've got the CAB and the common so that we're just really intentional about everything we're doing. And timeline documents are linked in here. So I've updated so that you should see the critical area for each subject area that we are working on. And if there's anything else you want to see in there, just shoot me an email. So thank you so much. I'm more than happy to support with any of these resources or diving deeper into the instructional routines and resources provided by Illustrative Math. And I hope you have a wonderful week. Thank you so much for working hard, for spending that love and light to our students. And I hope that I get to see you soon. Take care.